Hey y'all, I'm Pam with 44 Marketplace. And if today's your first visit to my channel, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. Please take a minute to subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a video. If you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. And keep in mind, I try to put a material list in the comments below each one of the videos. If I missed something, please let me know. Okay, let's get started.
So we're going to talk about how we're going to prepare this vintage desk for our live tomorrow night and for it to be refinished. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I've already done. Hey Karen, what I've already done is I've already cleaned everything on the outside of this desk. Okay, and you know, when you get a piece like this, especially the vintage pieces, the vintage pieces always have some dents and dings and things like that. A lot of the time, they have missing corners. They have things like that. So I'm going to tell you, typically the first thing I do after I clean is I go ahead and remove my hardware. Now I'm going to tell you, I am meticulous about labeling my hardware. I like for my hardware to go back on, if I'm going to use the same hardware, and this is a Hepplewhite hardware, Hepplewhite style hardware, so I am going to use it. I always label my hardware with a Sharpie on the back. So some of the hardware is in decent shape and some is not so great, but I'm probably going to refinish the hardware as well. So I will boil it to get rid of the rust, and I will kind of scrub it off. And let me show you. A couple of them look like this, but they're beautiful hardware, so we are going to make them work. And my husband, who, you know, is my partner in all this, he's chosen the finish for this. We're going to have a stained top, and the bottom is going to be French linen. He wants me to kind of dial back the color on this one because we all know how much I love color. So the bottom's going to be French linen, and we're going to do something to highlight all these details. So now you're up to date. So basically what I've done to this piece so far is I have removed the hardware and I've cleaned the piece so that I could clean also behind where the hardware is. And I've started cleaning out the drawers. But a lot of them have things like this in there, which we will sand to get rid of this, because this is almost like silly string or something sticky or something. So I'll get rid of all of that. And we will use Big Mama's butter on the inside of all of these drawers when we're to that point. I don't usually do that until we're almost to the finish line. But I wanted you to see on the outside of these drawers, you can see that I have already taken Dixie mud. I don't know if you guys know what Dixie Belle mud is, but it is fantastic for repairing issues on old pieces. And another thing that I always make sure and label is when I take my drawers out to do some repairs on them, to clean them, to sand them or whatever, I'm always careful with my Sharpie in my track line to make sure that I label where the drawers go. Because while this one's pretty obvious, the ones on these sides, I don't want them to be in a different slot when I put them back in, because sometimes, guess what? They don't fit. They only fit in the slot that they went in. So you can see that I've already taken my Dixie mud and I've already fixed my corners. I think 3 or 4 of the drawers had nicks in them, and I want you to see what they look like. We've already filled these in, and I use SurfPrep for nearly everything. SurfPrep has things called rad pads, and actually I was going to show you guys, these have little foam pads on them, and if you do any hand sanding, and for something like this, I do like to hand sand. And I wanted you to see how quickly that just sands it off so that it's nice and smooth, so that it's ready to be painted. So if you haven't tried SurfPrep rad pads, they are amazeballs. And you can see that I've already taken the little sander. Now everything is ready to paint on this drawer. When I paint the drawer, I will tape off the top, and I will paint everything intact, and then we'll go around and we'll touch it up with our brush. But I also wanted to let you know that tomorrow you are going to get to see my SurfPrep sander in motion, because we're actually going to go ahead and sand this top, because we are going to stain it. Now, another thing that you'll notice about this piece is it has the dreaded red undertone. So you know what that means. that means that it is probably going to be a bleeder, and we're going with French linen. So we will be bossing this. A lot of people don't realize that boss can be sprayed. So before we sand our top and everything, I will probably go ahead and at least put a coat of boss on here at some point tomorrow, because I do want this bossed. And if you guys follow me, you know I almost never use boss. But this thing, if you look on its back panels, and you can see in the unfinished panels how much of a red undertone there is, they're all pink. So guess what, people? That means this is a bleeder. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Graco sprayer, and we're going to spray at least one coat of boss on this and do a little test panel and see if I need to do anything more than that. Probably just pull out one of these drawers, put some paint on it, see if it bleeds. If it does, then I'll do a second coat of boss on the entire piece. But we are going to sand the top and stain it. And right now I'm thinking walnut gel stain. If you guys have a different suggestion, please put it in the comments. I'd love to know what your opinion is. And as you can see, we've got beautiful, beautiful details, and all of those are intact, so we don't have to recreate those. So basically what I have done to this is cleaned it with Dixie Belle White Lightning. If you guys haven't tried Dixie Belle White Lightning and you do furniture, I highly recommend it. It's totally amazeballs for cleaning, because not only does it clean your piece, it deglosses it and gets it ready to paint. It's a granular product, 2 heaping tablespoons in a gallon of warm water. And now I like to spray it on my piece and wipe it back. Other friends like Heather, she throws it in a bucket of water and wipes it off. Either way, they do recommend that you wear gloves, because it is a TSP based cleaner and you can never be too careful, right? So basically, once I've cleaned this, I went back in and I did my Dixie mud, and I let it dry today in my hot classroom, and it's ready to sand. So I took my SurfPrep sanding rad pad, and I will finish the sanding up. And like I say, before you see her tomorrow, she will probably get at least one coat of boss. And that way I know that we'll be almost ready to sand. And we will probably go ahead and maybe base coat this with our French linen. If you guys haven't looked at the Dixie Belle French Linen, it's one of their newest colors. Fabulous. Let me tell you, fabulous. And so we are going to do this in kind of a stained top and a painted bottom. If you guys have questions, please let me know. But like I say, I am going to do a little bit of prep, because you guys know me. I'm going to spray. I don't think you guys want to see all of that. And if you do, put it in the comments, and we'll do it live tomorrow night, because we've got 2 lives at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Last time I did it at 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., but tomorrow night we're probably going to do 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., but follow my page and I'll let you know for sure. It just depends on what I get done tomorrow, because I'm finishing up that kitchen that you saw pictures of last week. So hang around for our live tomorrow, and if I don't see you before, I'll see you then. I'm going to dinner with my husband. Thanks, y'all.